Here is a selection of about nine free DAW or digital audio workstations for September 2023. That I made just a small selection over here. Um, and I'm going to start here with Making Waves. While Making Waves is now really not cheap anymore. I started with this DAW in 2002. It's now actually a little bit abandoned. It's a sequencer. If you This is the fifth version, but if you download one of the older versions, I think the second or the third version, they are for free. This website is, by the way, yeah, a little bit abandoned. 2011 was the last update for this DAW. It's not really a DAW; it's actually more a sequencer. It's actually a little bit pretty limited in many things. But I started on this in 2002. I've before that already worked a little bit with Cubase and with other things, but nothing really special. But this was the first uh, sequencer, because that's what it is. It's a sequencer. It has nice functions, but it's in some things very limited. I made an album actually on it that you can find on SoundCloud. It's called Dreamworks by DJ Ska. You can find it on SoundCloud. It was in that time even more limited than it is over here. This is the last version, last update in 2011. Now they ask £20 for it, which is really not much. But if you look for an older version, version 3 or 4, you can still download it, and that one is not a paid version. So it's you can just download it. It's not even piracy, because the in that time it wasn't a paid version. So it's a sequencer. But I just wanted to mention that one because that's not my first DAW, but it's the first DAW that I actually produced the whole album on. So it's a music sequencer. Pretty basic, but you can still get extremely good results with it. Making Waves is, if I'm not wrong, this is a British company. Even this is here mentioned in pounds. So in the old times, you could even get it with music magazines. They offered it many times together with the sample CDs. You had then a version of Making Waves on it. That one I just wanted to mention because it's one of the first ones I actually used to make a whole album. That's Making Waves. But first we're going to go to one of the most used ones and known ones. We're gonna go first to Cakewalk by BandLab. Cakewalk by BandLab already exists for 30 years. It used to be called Sonar Platinum. Used to be a 600 or 700 euro premium production suite. Now it was was sold by the guys from the Cakewalk to, I think it was Gibson who bought them, and have maintained it for a couple of years, and then it was sold again. It was in the hands of 2 or 3 different companies in the last 5 or 6 years, and then BandLab bought it, which have their whole online platform, and is offering it for free. You can still get this program for free, and you can keep on using it for free, but they're going to come a new version that's Cakewalk Next, and Cakewalk Sonar is going to probably be a perpetual license without updates, or 1 year or 2 year updates, and then probably is going to be also a subscription model. Pricing, we don't know about it, but if you still want it, Cakewalk is a very professional program, and you can get it still for free, and when the new one comes out, then you can still keep on using it. But you don't receive updates anymore. Very capable program. A little bit of clunky old user interface and graphical user interface. The workflow is not the fastest in Cakewalk, but you can get very professional results, and you have also a channel strip and compressors and everything on each channel. You can have you have already just a channel strip with compressors and with equalizers and with tube compressors, and it's a very advanced DAW. You can do a lot with it, but it's not the easiest way of working. That's one of my first recommendations if it concerns free DAWs or digital audio workstations to produce your electronic or any other kind of music. I think actually Cakewalk is a little bit more suited for bands, and for electronic music it's not the easiest user interface, but you can use it for it. So there you go, Cakewalk by BandLab. Register yourself and get it before they go here with the new versions. And then this one they will stop supporting. You don't get updates anymore, but you can keep on using it. So there you go. Then the next one I want to recommend to people is, of course, Traction Waveform, which is a fantastic free DAW. You can get the free version, and you can update it with little packages. So it's expenses you have for it that you can buy for 50 euros. You have here DJ Mix Tools. Let me see if I can actually find the expenses over here. The expenses are over here. So you can take the free version, and it's completely unlimited. You can use third-party VST plugins, and you can buy these little packages. You have here DJ tools with some tools for DJing and remixing, 50 euros. Pro Video for editing and syncing up to video clips, etc. For film scores, video games, or movie projects and stuff, 50 euros. Recording Engineer is another 50 euros. They have all sorts of settings for pro recording, mixing and editing. Then we have the MIDI producer, that for me is the most interesting one. It's also 50 euros with a couple of a sampler, drum sampler, subtracting synthesizer, and a bass OSC with modifiers. So goes a little bit to bitwidth or to bitwidth. Has a lot of modifier functionalities and macros. Chord track and Pro MIDI functions, another 50 euros. And then you have a synth pack here with subtractive synth, bass, OSC, multi-sampler and a drum sampler for 30 euros. So you can expand it by yourself. And then there, of course, also you have a waveform, the Pro version that you can go over here and look for. It goes between, now in sale, you can get it for 80 euros. Normally it's 149. There's a version of 299 and a version of 500, I think, and then there's a version of 1000 that contains all sample packs and all expansions that they have. But you can also just go for the waveform free, buy some expansions, or use your free or bought external VST plugins that you bought or you download for free from an other site. So fantastic program, no limitations. So waveform, I use it the most. I think it's a fantastic program. There you go. Then, of course, we have LMMS, which is a Linux Multimedia Studio. This program was developed open source, still is open source. It was developed for Linux, comes with many distributions of Linux. It's already installed, especially Ubuntu Studio and more creative Linux distros have this already included, pre-installed. Very similar workflow as Fruity Loops, only no audio recording, and you can use third-party VSTs if I'm not wrong, but actually about that I'm not even really sure if you can use third-party VST. I think you can only use the internal plugins that come with LMMS by itself, and there's no recording. You cannot record external audio sources. But it's a very similar workflow to FL Studio, to Fruity Loops. Very nice if you like to work with MIDI and stuff. For recording bands, useless. And for recording external audio sources, there's no record function. A little bit of a cluttered way of working. Very good for electronic music interface. Not my favorite program. I don't find it. I can make stuff with it. I've used it many times. You can get good results with it, but it's not a quick program to use. But it's totally free. It's open source. The end result get good, but not the fastest way of working. But 100% free, and it depends on the workflow that you like. If you like Fruity Loops workflow, then you can a little bit get used to it. But don't expect it to be exactly the same, especially not if it concerns instruments and VSTs and these kinds of things. Menu also a little bit confusing, as you can see over here. Not the most user-friendly GUI or graphical user interface. LMMS 100% free, open source, so you can even modify it. You can take stuff of it and use it in your own applications. You can look in the code. It's open source, so we have to stimulate this. Free, nice thing, good for beat makers and people like to play around with MIDI and stuff. Fantastic program. and it's free. So that's also an option. Then we have here Ardour. Ardour comes also, it's open source, comes also from the Linux community. It's now also upgraded to be working on Windows and Mac OS, but this is also originally from Linux. I've seen this already on Linux distributions in 2008 or something, or 7. I saw them already. I used to use a lot of Linux. And Ardour, fantastic program. A little bit more for bands and live recordings, and it's a little bit more not so electronic music orientated, but fantastic program, Ardour. Not the easiest workflow. You have to really get used to it. This is a program that you have to train yourself and to get used to working with it, but a fantastic program. Ardour, check it out. Some time ago it used to be even for Windows you needed to pay, but then for Linux not. I don't know if that's still the case. It looks over here not. It looks here that you can just install it for free for Linux, Mac OS and Windows. But a couple of years ago, first it was free. First it was only on Linux, then it became only for Linux, but then in Windows you needed to pay. And now I think that they have now put it also for free for Windows and Mac. By the way, you can, even if you don't want to pay for it, you can always take the source code and then you can create yourself a package, just package it up and then run it. So because it's open source, the source code is there, so you can always install it if you don't want to pay for it, and you can always get a free version by repacking it yourself. Go to GitHub to get the source code from here and just pack it up, and then it's always free usable. So there you go, Ardour. By the way, in any Linux distribution you can just sudo opt get Ardour and it will install itself from the repository, and you have it on Linux always for free, and I think on Windows and Mac now also. So there you go. Then we of course have Audacity over here. Audacity. Windows, Mac, Linux, of course, and all the other BSD and programs out there. Audacity now supports also VSTs. You can use VST plugins in it. Audacity is very good for recording bands, recording your stuff, editing your audio for your video clips. Doesn't support any MIDI. You can create several audio tracks, but it is not a DAW in the sense that as you are used to, for example, with Cubase or Pro Tools. No MIDI capabilities, but you can run VST plugins in here and you can create several audio tracks. The editing capacities are really great over here, but this is just purely audio work and converting work. Very good to take out noise, edit your stuff. Fantastic for that. So Audacity, a fantastic program, exists many years, also comes again from Linux and then migrated itself to Windows and to Mac OS, but probably the most used free editing program in the world. Fantastic for all sorts of audio work, especially working with normal audio, cleaning up audio, there's lots of filters in it, there's lots of filters and effects already in it by itself, a lot of editing possibilities, only no MIDI. You can use external VST plugins, but if you start using many tracks, there's no multiple mixing console. So to start mixing up several tracks together is going to be complicated. It's not impossible. There are people who have made albums on Audacity, and if it's just for your normal audio manipulation or converting audio or cleaning it up, normalizing sound, taking noise away, taking cracks out of recorded old tapes or vinyl. Fantastic program. So thumbs up to Audacity, using it for many years. So there you go, Audacity, another choice, free and open source. Then we have Magic Music Maker 2024 free version. There are some limitations on it. I don't know. I'm not really a Magic Music Maker user. I was actually many years ago, but that was then. It was a very limited program. But you can do a lot with it. it's not a professional program, so I warned you already about that. And all the sample pools, the sound pools that are included, you can make tracks on it, you can release it, but you cannot monetize it. You cannot ask money for the sample loops that you use in here. But then again, there's so many free sample packs available that are royalty free. So just use free sample packs or buy yourself royalty free sample packs. So this, you can use the sound pools, but you cannot use them to monetize them or to make money on them. So Magic Music Maker, good for beginners, not for advanced musicians. So there you go. And then over here we have Serato Studio. There is a free version and there's a professional version. That's only a subscription, unfortunately. $9.99 per month. Or you can buy it, by the way, the whole version. I'm sorry, it's not just subscription based. You can also buy it for $249. You get the full version. So there is a perpetual license available. I don't know how it works with updates, but $249 the whole version, or $9.99 per month, and it makes then what is that, $120 per year, or $249 to buy the whole version. Which I, by the way, don't find really so worth it, because this is it's not the most professional program out there. Really, honestly, it's not. But for a beginner, fantastic program. So that's Serato Studio. If you go for the whole professional version, has lots of nice features, including separating your track in stems, so you can go really crazy with it. With the subscription here or the full version, you get also free isotope plugin, and you can cancel at any time. And all the sound packs are included. I don't know how it works over here with the sound packs, if they are royalty free over here, but in Magic Music Maker they are not, so you cannot monetize them. You cannot ask money for it, but. Even the free version has stem separation also in Serato, so that's really nice. You can chop up your track in individual instruments and voices, so separate the synth, separate the drums, and separate the vocals, and then start editing everything. But there you go. Here are some ideas and solutions for free DAWs or digital audio workstations in September 2023. Some of these ones I mentioned before, is a good idea to pick them up, especially Cakewalk and making traction waveform. Get them while you can. Register an account there and register them your account, because especially Cakewalk is shortly not going to be available anymore as a free download, but you can keep on using it. If you have registered it, you can just keep on using it, but you don't receive updates anymore. So there you go. These are my recommendations for some free DAWs in September 2023. So there you go. Until the next time, take care and stay safe.